You torque the final bolt on the machine's knee joint and set it down on the bench. It stands. Takes 3 steps across the workshop floor, each one clean and even. The woman who owns it watches it walk with the relief of someone whose livelihood just came back from the dead. You tell her the motivator coil is worn, 6 months maybe. She pays you in chem chips and wheels it out into the fog. You wipe down the bench. You flip the sign to closed, 11 hours today. Your knuckles are cut from where a housing panel slipped. The chem lanterns outside are flickering the way they've flickered for 3 weeks because nobody comes to fix things down here. Then the window explodes inward. A body comes through it, landing hard on your workshop floor among the glass. You're against the back wall before you've thought about moving. A long-handled driver raised in your hand. A man stands in the gap where your window was. Long coat. Rebreather around his neck. The expression of someone who has not come to apologize for the window. Behind him in the fog, 2 more men. Still. Patient. He steps inside. He looks at your shop the way a person looks at something they're deciding the value of. Then he looks at the shape on your floor. You look too. A man, alive, barely. One side of his torso caved in, ribs collapsed inward from impact, his jacket eaten through at the shoulder, the skin beneath it raw and glistening from chemical exposure. His breathing is wet and labored and wrong. You tell the man in the coat you fix machines. Automatons, loader rigs, chem pumps. You point to the door. Surface hospitals, 4 levels up, real doctors. He reaches into his jacket. You brace. He pulls out a photograph and holds it toward you. Your daughter. Outside her building on level 3, school bag over one shoulder, wearing the red coat you helped her pick out 2 weeks ago. Taken today. He folds it back into his jacket. He looks at the man on your floor. Fix him. He steps back into the fog. His men don't move from the door. You understand the geometry of this completely. You put down the driver. You kneel beside the man on your floor. You are a mechanic. You fix machines. But you understand systems. How components fail, why they fail, what it takes to restore function. You look at the collapsed ribs and you think, structural failure. A load-bearing framework buckled under impact, driven inward, compressing the systems behind it. The lung is compromised. You can hear it in every wet breath. The chem burn on his shoulder is serious but secondary. You stabilize primary systems first. That's always the rule. You don't have surgical tools. You have mechanical tools. You have metal and wire and precision fabrication equipment. You have a full vial of pharmaceutical-grade shimmer you use for microbonding delicate components. You get to work. You fabricate a brace from lightweight chem steel stripping, bending it to shape by hand and eye. You open the cavity with your most delicate cutting tools and fit the brace around the collapsed ribs, pulling the structure back into alignment the way you'd straighten a buckled automaton frame. You seal the lung puncture with biomesh patch and shimmer, applying it in careful increments, watching the tissue respond. You dress the chem burn with industrial neutralizing compound in layers the instructions don't tell you to use because the instructions weren't written for this. His breathing changes. Slowly, the wet labor becomes something cleaner. You tie the final connection. You sit back. Your hands shake. They didn't shake while you were working. They never do. And the man on your floor is breathing in something that resembles a normal rhythm, and he is alive. The man in the coat steps back through the window. He looks down. He looks at you. He sets an envelope on your workbench without a word and leaves, and the fog takes him and his men, and the street is empty. You count the gold coins twice. The number is the same both times. Enough to buy a breather mask. That is a lot. 6 days later, your comm crackles at 2 in the morning. A different voice. Same message. Someone needs the kind of work you did 6 nights ago. Double the pay. You think about saying no. You think about the photograph. You give them the address. The second patient is a woman with lungs destroyed by long-term refinery exposure. The surface hospitals told her it was irreversible. You look at her scans, and you look at your fabrication equipment, and you think about the bellows and filter assemblies you've built for heavy industrial automatons. You build her a hybrid framework. Chem steel scaffolding, threaded with biomesh, shimmer treated so the remaining organic tissue bonds through the structure. 6 hours, the most complex fabrication you've ever done. When she wakes up, she breathes deeply for the first time in 2 years. She just lies there and breathes. You watch her and feel something you don't examine too closely, because if you do, you'll have to decide what it means about what you're becoming. Her people leave an envelope, you put it in the drawer with the first one. You start keeping the workshop open late on Fridays and Saturdays. Word spreads the way it does down here. Quiet, passed person to person in the language of people who need things they can't ask for officially. A man with a crushed hand beyond conventional repair. You fabricate a partial exoskeletal replacement over what's left of the original structure. A woman with a failing cardiac regulator. You rebuild it with redundancies the original never had. A teenager who lost a leg in a loader accident, whose family can't afford a surface prosthetic. You build one from workshop parts. Not elegant, but when he walks out under his own power, he doesn't look back. Most of them have nothing to do with the chamberin. They're just people, pipe workers, filtration technicians, kids broken by machinery that doesn't care about them. You treat all of them. You undercharge all of them. The chamberin's money makes that possible. You tell yourself the two sides of your ledger don't talk to each other. You buy better equipment, a proper micro-welding rig, pharmaceutical-grade shimmer in quantity. You tell yourself it's just a funding arrangement. You tell yourself the work is the work, regardless of where the money comes from. That's the first mistake. It's a Friday when it unravels, late past the second fog cycle. You've just finished a spinal alignment procedure, and you're cleaning instruments when the back door opens without a knock. 4 people, not patients. They move through your space with ownership, looking at your equipment the way the man in the coat looked at that photograph. The one who speaks says the chamberin is impressed, that what you've built exceeds expectations, that you'll be moving to a new facility, better equipped, better supplied. You'll work exclusively for the organization. Your daughter attends the best school available. Your family moves to a clean level, everything provided for. You tell them you have patients, people who depend on you. He nods like you've said something predictable. He tells you those people will have someone else. You look at your workshop, your bench, your tools arranged exactly how you arranged them over years of learning what you need, where. The half-finished auditory implant sitting on the bench, 3 weeks of your best work, built for a girl who can't hear and is coming back for it and will find an empty shop. You look at the back door, still open, the fog beyond it. You think about the man who came through your window. One word, the photograph, the red coat. You think about the woman breathing for the first time in 2 years, the teenager walking out without looking back. You understand that no one stopped being available to you the night you knelt on this floor and started thinking like a mechanic about a dying man. Every choice since then. The second call, the Fridays, the Saturdays, the better equipment, the fuller drawer. They weren't choices. They were the same choice, made once, compounding. One of them moves to the door. He holds it open. He waits. You pick up your coat. You look at the auditory implant on the bench one last time. Small, intricate. The girl is going to come back for it, and you won't be here, and there is nothing you can do about that now. You step through the door. The fog takes the workshop behind you. The machinery hums beneath the city, that permanent vibration, the heartbeat of a place that finds a use for everything eventually. You spent your whole life fixing broken machines. Now you understand what it feels like to be one.